Hey guys, welcome to another recap of the Dancing with the Stars Halloween show. That means everyone's in costume. Everyone, except Tom Bergeron. I don't know who he was, but some of the costumes were definitely improvements, like the singers. Alright, let's start with the solo dances. David and Kim went first. They danced a cha-cha to Abracadabra. Kim knows that he's out of control, so she tried to hypnotize him, and that didn't work. So then they had to bring in an illusionist, aka magician, to teach them a few tricks to just, distract away from the mediocre dancing. When is he not going to be goofy? David Arquette is goofy. There's no two ways around it, and the judges were all over him on this dance. They were just like, oh, it was so good. I thought he had no conviction whatsoever during this dance, and he was just goofy and drunky and maybe a little high. I don't know, but they ended up with a 24. Then came JR and Karina. They had a tango which they danced to Ghostbusters, which is probably the most crappiest song that you could dance a tango to. It was a little bit of sloppy, but they pretty much set him up for failure when they gave him that song to dance for the tango. So they only ended up with a 25, and I don't think it was really his fault at all. Then Nancy and Tristan, they had a jive, and when I heard that Nancy had a jive, I was like, oh my god, how is she gonna do this? And I was right. I'm sorry. This was just a hot mess. It was like her feet were glued to the floor. She could not lift her feet more than a few inches up off the floor when she remembered the choreography. And I think the weirdest thing of all is when she's getting the judges' critique and she's just like, yeah, okay. Just emotionless. It's just like really weird. So they ended up with a 21. Alright, so then Rob and Cheryl were up next with a tango, and they were supposed to be all Addams Family, Morticia and Gomez. The judges freaking loved it. I thought it was pretty clunky. I mean, he was like stomping around the stage like a bear in a swamp, and not in a good way either. He just is not smooth. He's just gawky. Carrie Ann gave them a 9, and I was just like, really? Are you looking for a date or what? So they ended up with a 25, which was the same score as JR and Karina. You gotta be kidding me. Alright, then Ricky and Derek, Paso Doble. Ricky is injured. She pinched some kind of nerve under her rib or something like that. She needs to rest, but she can't, so they just strapped her in there. She was Little Red Riding Hood. This was the best dance of the night. She was pretty much fantastic. And she's losing weight. She looks great. And Derek totally looked like David Bowie with that makeup on. It was incredible. They should have got 10s just for that. So they ended up with a 27. And yes, it's proven now David Arquette is drunk. Behind Brooke and I guess it was Ricky and Derek, he was dancing around with a skeleton. And everyone was just like, oh, David, you're drunk. Alright, then Hope and Max were the last solo couple to go. They had a samba to Werewolves of London. Oh boy. He pushed her and pulled her around the dance floor like she was a mannequin. I felt the judges were really trying to be extra nice to them this week because of the whole debacle last week. They ended up with a 24. Whether they deserved it or not, I'm thinking no, but that's what they got. Alright, so now let's talk about the team dances. Team Tango was up first, and that was celebrity-wise, JR, David, and Nancy. Nancy had horrible posture. David was lukewarm. And JR, I guess he was the best of the bunch, but he wasn't even that great. So they ended up with a 23. So that puts them at JR 48, David 47, and Nancy way at the bottom with 44. So then Team Paso shows up, and that's Ricky, Hope, and Rob, celebrity-wise. And Max and Hope are making everyone feel uncomfortable. It's like domestic, violence, domestic abuse, and it's just like nobody. It's like, what would you do? Nobody wants to like step in and, you know, say something, but it's like the giant gorilla in the room. So the judges really loved this dance, and I didn't think it was really any better than the tango at all, except for Derek. He was fabulous. But he's not one of the celebrities. So that was a 26 for them, which puts Ricky at 53, Hope at 50, which means her score is higher than JR's. I find that incredibly difficult to digest. And Rob has 51. It's effed up. All right, so tomorrow, Boys to Men and J-Babes. You're not going to want to miss the results show because I'm pretty sure Nancy Grace is going home. So till tomorrow, much love.